That is including eastern portions of Kent County, Cascade, Ada, Lowell. You are directly in this path. This is the time that you need to be heading underground if you can, to a basement or to an interior room away from windows. Ionia County, you're going to see this coming through here very shortly. This is the time for you to take warning too. Ionia itself, Saranac, even up into Lyons area and down to Clarksville, you're in this tornado warning. And again, that's going until 8:30 p.m. We are watching for some damaging tornado possible. We have not seen any tornado just yet, but this is moving east at 40 miles per hour. So this is the time that you do want to go underground and take some cover. Let's take a look at a couple different products here. One of the ones we use a lot, scan. I think you'll see this moving here pretty quickly off to the east. So radar indicated tornado here, looking like we're going to see this continuing to move off to the east very quickly. This is the time that you want to take warning. If you are off to the west of this one, this is not the warning for you. So just know that if you are off to the east, or I should say the west of downtown Grand Rapids, you are not included in this warning. But if you are to the east, this is something that you will be seeing. This is the time that you do want to take cover. So going back to the radar now, let's take another look at that. We have been seeing some rotation in this, which is why we have that warning in place. And we're seeing some very heavy rain as well with this, lots of lightning too, and you're probably hearing the thunder overhead. We're certainly hearing it here at our studios.
Laura,
Nick.
yeah, I was talking with you earlier when we had the tornado warning up in the Newaygo area. That one was moving at about 20 miles an hour, if I remember you saying. This one moving 40. Does this seem like a more severe or more intense storm system, or is it just moving faster?
I would definitely say this one looks a little bit more likely that we are going to see some kind of tornadic activity based on our rotation product. It was off the chart. The earlier one, we did not see nearly as strong of rotation. So that's what we're looking for in these systems to indicate how likely it is that we're seeing a tornado.
And we're hearing the siren going off right here, and we're at 3 Mile and Alpine. So clearly the cities and the municipalities are letting you know about this. We were also talking earlier, we were seeing some hail as a part of the Newaygo-Mecosta warning earlier. Are you seeing any of that on any of your maps right now? Can they tell you that if you're seeing that upper atmosphere?
We'll take a look. We've got a little bit of hail indicated. That's not going to be the biggest threat from this, but where you see those grays and even those teals, that's where we've seen some of the hail coming down. So you may have heard some of that on the rooftop. I do want to show you the velocity though. We found that what we call couplet. So this is where we're watching some of the strongest rotation right now, and this just updated, so let's jump with it. Alden Nash near Foreman Street, G's Drive, Barnsley, this is just north of M21. Valley Vista Drive, this is moving your way, and Lowell is right on deck to see this too. So folks in Lowell, this is the time you got to get downstairs, grab the blanket, or if you've got a mattress that you have downstairs, put that overhead so that you stay safe.
This also seems more widespread than what we saw a couple of hours ago. Is that accurate too?
I would say so, yeah. Again, this is radar indicated, so we haven't seen anything. It's getting dark now, so it's going to be very tough to see anything. But if you are in the pathway, this is not the time to be seeing anything outside.
And I'm looking at the regional map, the regional radar. I don't know if you could bring that up for people right now that I'm seeing on one of your monitors back there. Even when we get through this particular cell right now, there's still more activity coming behind this. Is that correct?
There definitely is, yeah. We're watching off to the south too. Now, southwest or east portions of Ottawa County, now extending into Allegan. We have not seen anything severe in those storms yet, but just something to watch. They are certainly coming with a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain. I do want to point out up to the north, Big Rapids, Muskegon, up to Ludington, you've been cut out of the severe thunderstorm watch at this point. So you are pretty much in the clear from any kind of active weather for the rest of the night. You may see a passing thunderstorm, but it's really going to be those areas. It's still in the box. And we're looking at that really passing through the Grand Rapids metro area right now. Most of Kent County seeing this, and now just moving into Ionia County here shortly. Let me turn back on that tornado warning for you again until 8:30, so about 25 minutes.
Okay, we're seeing the collection of cells that are running along. How far south is this going, if you can put that into perspective for us here? Because I'm seeing the greater Grand Rapids area, and it's stretching all the way down south of Holland. That's all in the tornado warning area, correct?
The tornado warning, we're actually just seeing that box.
Okay, the smaller box right there as you zoomed in. Okay, I apologize.
There's a lot of lines. There's a lot going on, so thank you for clarifying. We're looking at Ada, Cascade, Lowell areas, Alto even including in this, Cannonsburg, and off to the east. That doesn't include all of Ionia County, but it includes a lot of Ionia County, including the city itself. Saranac is in there, Clarksville, and just to the north of Lake Odessa.
Okay, and you mentioned you were talking about rotation earlier. What is this looking at rotation-wise in comparison to what we saw earlier with Newaygo? And by the way, I don't believe that the Newaygo-Mecosta warning we had earlier, there has been no confirmed touchdowns with that yet, correct?
No, and we didn't see a lot of damage out of there either.
Some down trees, a few wires. Is this having more rotational effect than what you saw earlier?
It looks like it certainly could. We are definitely seeing on our radar indicated tools, this is a look at rotation, and it looks like we're certainly seeing it. So let's put this into perspective. You can see the loop here. So I'm going to put on the loop and look how fast this is moving on through. We just had the latest update, so let me show you that. Definitely weakening, so that's good news. But still, if you are in the Alden Nash area, and that's just to the north of Lowell, north of M21, that's the area that it's heading over right now, so you want to be underground.
If it's moving fast, like you just said, and again, just reiterating for people, 40 miles an hour was the last thing you said a couple of minutes ago, does it make sense that it would already be breaking up this fast? Does one necessarily mean the other?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. So speed is not an indication of how quickly anything will break up, but just an indication of how little time you might have before it strikes your house.
Okay, and I'm hearing from my producer right now. Did I hear we have Chris Flezar on the line right now?
That's right.
Okay, Chris is executive producer for Channel 13 here. Chris, forgive me, my friend, where exactly are you right now? Do you live out in the area where the tornado warning is in effect?
Yep, I actually live right near Alden Nash, where that Laura was just talking about, and it just really started getting windy, and the rain just started coming down. I'm in the basement. I can hear doors upstairs slamming, windows slamming, as the wind picked up, and yeah, so it's kind of crazy being over here, but everything seems okay so far.
Okay, how long have you been downstairs? How long has this been on top of you?
As soon as I got the push alert from 13 on your side, I grabbed the dog and went downstairs.
Okay, and
So probably 10 minutes.
And
maybe.
you said you were hearing a whole lot of wind. Are you hearing the rain, I imagine, as well? Does it sound like it might be hail, or are you primarily just hearing the wind out there?
I am just hearing the wind, lots of lightning, and the rain is quite heavy. You know what? Now I can see the trees from where I am, and they're not blowing a whole lot. It's a little more calm now, but yeah, the windows were slamming, the doors were slamming.
Okay, and
as it moved through.
What's your power situation like right now, Chris?
Power is on, no problems there.
Okay, and Laura's running back to grab some information, but he said it seemed like the wind was dying down for a minute in the Alden Nash area. Is that consistent with what you're seeing on the maps, or is it common where even in the middle of this things might die down for a moment or two?
Well, we're definitely looking at that wind just moving so quickly. This is our velocity, or a look at those winds. These are estimated by the radar, but looking at now off to the south, Oberly Drive, north of 28th Street, wind still being picked up as about 64 miles per hour, so not nearly as coordinated with those northern folks where we were seeing some of the rotation. But I do want to add that the National Weather Service did say what is likely a tornado on the ground. So we have not seen anything,
a tornado,
but very much likely possible to see a tornado on the ground. So again, this is the kind of system that you don't have a whole lot of time to take warning, but I hope you heeded those warnings because it is moving fast.
Yeah.
I do want to take a look quickly at Grand Rapids Airport. We've had this up for the past few minutes and not seeing too much activity on there right now, but look at the gust, 51 miles per hour. So strong winds there too. And you're likely, as Chris said, seeing those strong winds passing on through.
Chris, you and the dog stay safe down in that basement, my friend. We appreciate you calling in. Might touch base with you again later this evening. We're going to switch gears now and go over to 13's Amr Abbas. He's over in the newsroom right now. Talk about some potential power outages. We're getting some numbers on that. Is that correct, Amr?
Yeah, Nick, I'm looking at the outage maps right now, and it looks like the area that has the most significant outages, in fact, is Kent County. Right now, according to Consumers Energy, more than 20,000 customers are effective and do not have power right now in Kent County. A couple other counties that are also affected, if we just go a little bit north to Newaygo County, about 1,300 customers there that are affected. And then if we go west over to Ottawa County, about 1,200 customers that are affected there. And then finally, if we go over to Let me see if I can click over to Montcalm County, about 2,000 customers that are affected there. So we do have outages in several areas throughout West Michigan, but again, the area that it looks like folks are most severely affected right now is in fact in Kent County, reporting more than 20,000 customers right now without power. Nick?
All right. Amr, thank you very much. And we just got a word in my ear. Cornerstone, I believe it was Cornerstone University, is now taking cover because the storm is obviously heading in that direction. What can you tell us about that area in the east side of Grand Rapids right now, Laura?
Well, certainly something to take note. A lot of these schools have been impacted with this. Ferris earlier, now Cornerstone. And just to give everybody a little heads up on maybe what you should do if you're not familiar, if you are kind of around a school, maybe you've had class just a few minutes ago. Hopefully they have gone through this before, but the interior halls, those bathrooms that are in schools, they tend to not have any windows. That would be the best place to be. If you're in some kind of a dorm room, same thing. A lot of times they have those interior hallways away from the doors where you can get. Let's take a closer look at this. Cannonsburg, I would say you're out of this at this point. Cascade, you've probably seen the worst of it come through, but Lowell, you're seeing those heavy winds and heavy rains coming on as well. So areas near Cornerstone, you certainly are in the brunt of it right now, but as we look at the rotation, you'll see that it's gone just a little farther off to the east. So again, this is going to continue going until 8:30. We're going to stay on the air, but looking at the rotation, it does not look as impressive as it did earlier. Now we have this near Ware Road, just north of Peck Lake Road, and that's continuing to weaken as it does move that direction.
Well, that's good. We're going to take that as a positive right now if this is already weakening on us. I just got a text. Sirens are going off in the Granville area as well, and that's not in the tornado zone. I assume that's for a severe thunderstorm. Maybe sirens are going off down there?
You know, sometimes when it's one part of a county, the entire
county goes
participates.
off.
So it's really important to check in and make sure you heed those warnings if you need
But
to.
Granville is not in that cone. So if you're hearing the sirens go off in Granville right now, Laura, just once again, I don't want to pass along this information, but Granville is not in the tornado warning area.
Correct.
Okay.
Right now we are looking at still a portion of East Kent County that's included in this, but the big areas that want to take heed, Lowell. I would say Ada, you're probably safe at this point. Maybe just hunker down for a few more minutes here. The areas that need to be on deck though, really going and heeding those warnings, Saranac, Ionia, Clarksville, and Lyons. Make sure you're on standby too. Even areas just to the north of that, like Smyrna and Belding, you might want to head on underground as well because we have this strong thunderstorm coming on through. Tornado warning for those areas that we just mentioned, all of those cities that are included, like Ionia, Lowell right now, Saranac, you're going to start seeing this in a few minutes. This is a system moving 40 miles per hour to the east. So very quickly, you don't have a lot of time to react, but now is the time to get underground.
Laura, remind me real quick because I was writing down as you were passing along that brilliant information earlier about they said that they did confirm a tornado was on the ground. Was that the National Weather Service?
What is
likely? What is likely, and where exactly was that?
Now that would have been in the Lowell area.
In the Lowell
probably
area.
to the north where we had Chris informing us of what he was seeing.
So he was maybe right near the thick of it in the Alden Nash area.
Possibly.
Okay, and we also have a reporter, I believe, I'm going to double check with my producer, we had Matt Guard, who was near the Cornerstone area. You can see the light show going on out there right now, folks. Was that correct? We did have a reporter in the Cornerstone area?
And Nick, just to let you know, we did just have confirmation from the Weather Service that Kent County has been taken out of the tornado warning. Now we are left with just Ionia County in that warning.
Kent County is out. Ionia County, you are still a little bit under the gun, especially right square in the Lowell areas as well still, correct?
Yeah, Lowell has just been taken out. They are just on that border between Kent and Ionia, but if you're eastern portions of Lowell, you might still want to hang out underground for just a few more minutes. But Saranac, you're going to start seeing the rain picking up here shortly, gusty winds too. Actually, Ionia has now been cut out of this as well. We are really just targeting the Saranac and Clarksville areas as this continues to move off to the east.
Wow, this did break up quick.
A little bit, yes. We're still looking at potentially some of the strong winds. That's been really the biggest threat tonight.
Okay, this kicked out a lot of energy real fast, and since it is dissipating, let's talk one more time about maybe what's on the way. Hopefully no more tornado warnings, but from what your maps had up earlier, we've still got more more of systems heading into the West Michigan area. Is that correct?
We do, and Nick, I think this is the worst of it for those areas that have seen something pass through. You
Good.
probably won't see a second round. Typically when we see one strong severe thunderstorm kind of roll through an area, we call the atmosphere overworked. So it's really hard for it to rebuild those ingredients and prime itself for another round of severe weather. Right, what we're looking at right now is still the potential for Allegan to see some of those strong storms coming on through, and Hastings area as these continue to move off to the south and east. Holland, Grand Haven, Grand Rapids even. Light rain at this time, and that's about the most activity we'll see for the next several hours.
Good, good. We could use a break. So again, Saranac, Eastern Ionia, I believe you were saying, is where the activity still is that we need to be concerned about at the moment?
Currently the only active warning that we have, yes. Tornado warning still for another 14 minutes, and that has been cut. Ionia has been cut from that, the city of, but Saranac, Clarksville still included in that. And this is really passing through Lowell at the moment, but getting into eastern portions of Lowell. This is coming with some heavy rain.
Talk to me real quick about how it's been unusually warm, obviously, and humid the last, 24 hours or so. Is that pretty much what has contributed to all of this, getting all that moisture up and the humidity in the atmosphere?
Oh yeah, it definitely helps. This has been an active week, and it continues to be after today. We're talking severe weather potential Thursday night into Friday too, so be on deck for that. But what we're looking at is lots of moisture transport from the Gulf of Mexico, so that's one key ingredient. We've got a cold front coming through right now too, so that's another key ingredient. And we're also seeing a lot of instability, so a little sunshine added to the mix. And that's actually what's going to, I think, help kill some of those storm potentials for tomorrow during the day.
Is the sunshine?
Is the sunshine. We will keep a lot of cloud cover, so not worried about severe weather on Thursday during the day. But what we are watching is Thursday night into Friday, another frontal system coming through and potentially some severe weather.
Okay, we've got some video just in from the Belmont area. Let's go ahead and roll. This is video. You can go ahead and hit play. Wow. Okay. I'm actually glad that was lightning, because when it was frozen for a second there, Laura, I thought that was a twister.
Looked a little ominous.
It really did. So, and you were talking about lightning strikes earlier. They were all over the place when we had the system earlier in both Newaygo and Mecosta County. Are we seeing that same type of lightning activity associated with these cells that are going through right now?
Yeah, still seeing a lot of that. We were watching these come through. Abby, who is a part of our production team, she was watching these with me, and just lightning constant. We heard lots of loud thunder here as well, and I believe 13 on your side took a strike for just a hot moment.
Oh, we did there.
We did.
Oh,
yes.
how about that? I'm learning something new.
Yeah, lots of lightning still in the area too, Nick. So not hearing too much out here.
Yeah, there's a lot of color on that map, and I'm just going to assume a lot of color on your lightning strikes map means there's a lot of lightning.
Means there's a lot of lightning still to come. And of course, lightning is dangerous. That doesn't make us a storm severe, which is why we're not seeing a lot of the severe thunderstorm warnings at this time.
Okay.
Generally just kind of coming with thunderstorms, but of course you don't want to be outside when we've got the lightning.
Do you anticipate that we're going to step down from this? Right now we had the tornado warning, now it's just on the fringe of the area. Do we step down to a severe thunderstorm warning and then a watch, or does everything sort of go away all at once?
I think they'll let this warning play out.
Okay.
We've only got about 11 more minutes, so we'll see this kind of going through Saranac and then into Clarksville off to the north especially. But as far as the rest of the evening, I think we still need to be on standby, especially if you haven't seen anything. Those areas like Allegan, Kalamazoo, Hastings, Battle Creek, just be on standby. We've lost the sunshine now, so we've probably lost a lot of our fuel for this, but it's still something that we could see, so potentially some strong storms.
Okay. This is your rotation map right here. What is this telling you right now as we're up to date at the moment?
Well, let's take a look at the looping. So this really tells the story right here when we can see where we've come from. And got to zoom out quite a bit here, but as you look, notice that this, for a very brief period of time, as it got through the Ada to Lowell area, we saw that flash of white in there, which is the strongest level of rotation that we can see on this product.
Okay.
So it has weakened considerably since then. Let's take a look at the latest scan to the southeast of Lowell, and we're seeing still some of the moderate rotation coloring showing up. So that's near Ware Road, and we've been seeing that moving off to the east pretty quickly. Kaiser Road, about to see that kind of moving overhead into MacArthur Road as well, north of Peck Lake Road, otherwise Grand River Avenue. So that's kind of the area that we've seen this moving in and moving very quickly.
So the blue trail behind it, is that where it's come from, or is there still activity? I'm just trying to read the map for someone who isn't a weather expert here.
Yeah, that could certainly still be a little bit of mild rotation. The darker the blue color is that you see, the weaker it is.
Okay.
So not really concerned about that. What we're looking for is those bullseyes, and I know you immediately noticed that one to Cascade Road too.
Yep.
Something we're keeping our eye on, but I would say it's mainly going to line up with our velocity map. So if we take a look at that, and we'll take a look at what we've got here. We look for those areas where we see the really bright reds next to the really bright greens. And we don't really see any of those at the moment, especially where we had that area of rotation, which is a good sign. That means that we potentially might not be seeing anything more as far as rotation and tornadic activity too.
Okay, and a quick heads up, if you are looking to pick up any loved ones from Grand Rapids International Airport, I've got a message here from my producer. 5 incoming flights are delayed. I'm going to assume it doesn't matter which flight. I'm going to assume all 5 of these are probably everything they have coming in right now. That is an assumption, but I'm going to wait and see if my producer can check in on that for me. But 5 incoming flights from to Grand Rapids International Airport are currently delayed. Also just got a text from 13's Val Lego. Tornado sirens going off as well in Gaines Township now, Laura.
Okay.
She's hearing tornado sirens in Gaines Township. Help me out a little bit out with that. Is that a Granville situation where you have?
So Gainesville Township, Kentwood area, I would say not quite sure why they're doing it other than maybe for the winds. Sometimes local communities will sound these if they think the winds are going to be in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour.
Okay, they're being overly cautious potentially.
They may be, yes. We are not seeing any kind of severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning in that area. It really is just contained to Ionia County right now. And the Weather Service just saying the areas of concern really north of Clarksville and moving over to north of Lake Odessa. So that's really the concern that they have right now.
And you know, to the folks in Granville and Gaines Township where you are or possibly were hearing the tornado sirens, we're still hearing them at 3 Mile and Alpine right now, and we're not in that tornado watch area either, tornado warning area either. But it's better to be overly cautious, I think, than under cautious in a situation like this.
Absolutely. And we still have another update on that rotation. So we're taking a look at that right now. This is a very small area. Remember, tornadoes generally are very small. Still seeing some rotation, but again, weakening as we've been watching this move on through. If you are seeing anything, or if you're in the area of Goodmoot, I believe that's what that's pronounced, Bliss Road coming up here, really off to the south of Portland Road, that's where we're going to be seeing the area of concern. But if you are in surrounding areas too, this is still a reminder to take cover because we are still seeing a lot of strong winds going through and some very heavy rain.
You mentioned the sun's gone down, and that's a lot of the fuel for this type of thing. Does that look like it's possibly about ready to die out, or could it re-energize at this point?
I would say it's probably running out of steam at this point. Don't want to make any promises for those folks. So we just want to remind you to take cover if you are in these areas. But I think Saranac, you're pretty much out of this right now. We've seen the biggest push of the strongest winds, and you've seen the heaviest rain kind of rolling through too. Of course, still very heavy overhead and lots of lightning with this. But as far as the tornadic activity, I would say Saranac is just about out of this. And then moving off to the east from there, we are going to see this moving into David Highway here pretty shortly. Grand River Avenue really kind of racing parallel to that, and Jordan Lake, you're about to get slammed with some of that heavy rain.
All right, let's take a couple of pictures we've got sent in here. These are from south of Clarksville. The best I can say, Laura, is those are impressive looking clouds. What can you tell that I obviously cannot?
Looking like a shelf cloud, and a very impressive one too. It's really tough to get these pictures when it is getting dark like this, but they've certainly gotten that twilight off to the left side of your screen that you see, and some of the really intense imagery from the cloud cover there.
And I'm going to assume that was from a little bit earlier, because a shelf cloud, if I'm not mistaken, represents incoming weather. You're not going to see that on the back end of the storm, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that was a picture, hopefully from a little bit earlier tonight, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at some hail products, Nick, because we have had that concern as well. There have been some reports of hail. Right now, looking like the hail threat is getting into Portland area. So we've got that near Grand River Avenue, like a lot of this, just north of I-96. If you're driving near I-96 or you were going to head out to the road, this is really not a great time to head out there. Maybe give this a few minutes to pass on off to the east of you, but potentially some hail that you're seeing at that point. And let's take a look at velocity one more time too.
And just a quick point on Portland, we don't really want to talk about them in tornadoes again for a long time. So let's hope that this has really died out by the time it's hitting that city.
That would be great. We've got on our rotation here a little bit of an indication from our storm tracker. What we're seeing at this point, it gets a little bit tough to say because we do get more of the broadband pixelated views of this a little farther away from the radar. But what we are seeing is potentially some rotation. Let's take a look at our rotation product here. And what we're really looking for is for that to line up with those very bright colors on the radar, and it really doesn't. So I don't think we'll be seeing too much more than maybe funnel cloud activity near Portland, but something to keep your eye on. If you are in the area, it would be a great idea to think about maybe heading to the basement here shortly in case that tornado warning is extended into your area. Right now we still have that near Clarksville, and that's where we're seeing the rotation moving into north portions of Lake Odessa.
All right, we have got some video and sound, I believe. 13's Phil Dawson has gotten us some video and sound from the Monroe area in Grand Rapids. Okay, let's go ahead and we can back off on that. I don't want people to assume that that is sirens that are currently going off in Grand Rapids. I don't want anyone to get a misunderstanding here. That is video from a little while ago. That is not live. If you are hearing a siren in Grand Rapids, you don't need to worry about a tornado warning in our area. That is expired several minutes ago. That's just an idea of what it looked like in the Monroe area of Grand Rapids a little while ago. You obviously saw the lightning flashes, you heard the sirens. So oftentimes, not oftentimes, but many times we hear people, they'll say, well, if there was a tornado, why didn't we hear the sirens? Why didn't we hear the sirens? You're hearing them tonight. You're hearing them even in places like Granville that were not in the tornado watch cone. You're hearing them in places like Gaines Township, which were just outside of the cone. We were hearing them here at 3 Mile and Alpine, not what, 5 minutes ago, Laura?
Absolutely.
And we haven't been in danger of a tornado watch in quite a while. So kudos to people in the municipalities and counties that are getting those sirens out there and warning people. Again, even if it's an overabundance of caution, we're going to take that.
It's worth a check-in with us just to make sure that you're in the area. We do want to add that we just had reports of some large hail in Portland. No size on that, but some large hail. And what we just saw is this little pop-up cell just overhead. So something to watch for, large hail in Portland. And you are just outside of that tornado warning, but watch for this potential. We've only got 2 more minutes on this tornado warning currently in Ionia County, but we could see that extend through Portland as we see this system getting closer and closer. Still keeping an eye on the Lake Odessa area, most of it not included in this tornado warning, but that has been kind of consistently where we've seen the rotation for the past few scans on the radar now. So that's something that we're still watching. But again, Portland, you're seeing some hail, and if we take a look at the hail product, that's exactly what we're seeing on the hail product too. Lots of that coming on down. Let's take a look at the rotation one more time to see if we've gotten any differences, and it looks like it's really kind of wound down here. Not seeing much more than very weak rotation at this point, and that is just to the north of Lake Odessa near Tasker Road, just north of Jordan Lake Road. So rotation kind of coming to an end here, Nick, which is a good sign for those of us in Ionia County. Probably not seeing too much of an active situation, but stay underground or stay in your safe place just in case. Yeah,
and actually we just got a tweet at us, you and I did, from former 13 anchor, your both our good friend and your former co-anchor Meredith Terhar sent in a tweet on Twitter. You can go and check it out if you want. We'll try to have it for you a little bit later, of the rain coming down in the Wealthy Street area of Grand Rapids. So I think that is a good reminder, along with the sirens we're hearing in multiple different places, that you don't need to be right in that cone of uncertainty with a tornado watch to have severe weather. We do concentrate on that a lot. obviously, understandably, when we have tornado warnings and watches, but we've got a lot of West Michigan here right now that is seeing some severe weather, Laura.
We certainly do. I'm going to track this out for you. Not sure that it's really going quite this directly south and east, more of an eastward path for this, but there still is some rotation being picked up. Sunfield, you're really the only area popping up here within about 8:40, so 10 minutes or so. Let's take a look and see if we've been canceled from this tornado warning from the National Weather Service now that it is 8:30. We've got the radar up here and tornado warning. It looks like it has been canceled. So let's double check on the chat here.
All right. And I'm looking for you. I'm double checking with you on Twitter to see if the National Weather Service is saying anything as well. Because this is what we do, folks. This is how we get our information, sometimes directly from the National Weather Service. We get it like you do sometimes. We just go straight onto Twitter. And Laura's back at the printer right now.
And it looks like they have allowed that to expire. They are keeping a severe thunderstorm warning for the area.
What area in particular?
So that's
here?
going to be Ionia County and off to the east of there. So included in that is Portland. Ionia is included in that as well. And we are going to see that continue to move off to the east. But 9 o'clock is when we'll see that expire. I would say most of Ionia County out of this within about the next 15 minutes or so. This is still continuing to move pretty fast. But now that we're out of the tornado warning, we definitely stay on air all through tornado warnings,
yeah.
But we have no more active tornado warnings at this time.
In Kent and Ottawa, apparently in the clear as well right now.
In the clear as well.
Okay. Laura, thank you very much, helping everyone, keeping us safe. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in with us. Glad we could help you out. We're going to obviously stay on this. Laura's going to keep looking at her maps. I'll be ready to go if we need to come back onto air. Otherwise, we'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock. We're going to send you back to regular programming.
This has been a 13 on your side severe weather special report.